Well, Dale, another weekend, another car show.
Another car show, Howard.
Well, I had to leave Dale home this time, but I've dragged him back in because I think it makes the commentary much more interesting. Good to have you along, Dale.
Yeah, great to be back, Howard.
So Dale came up last year, so this is the Hot Rod and Custom...
Auto Expo.
Yeah, I never get it right.
We always knew it as a Sydney Hot Rod Show.
That's right. So we were there last year, and this year was up to the task as per usual, and I love the vibe of this show. It's just a really good feel, and of course straight up with a really nice green, blue Meanie. It's not
Blue
a green
Meanie,
one,
yep.
it's a blue one. And just one of so many spectacular cars, and I'm going to go through all of them. There's a lot of repeats from some of the earlier shows because people build these cars, they unveil them. They'll normally do 12 months of shows.
Yep.
So the fact that we've covered Summer Nats, Melbourne show cars.
Show cars, yes.
And then Motor X, and then now we're in Sydney doing the Hot Rod show. So there are some unveils as well amongst these, and some really nice hot rods, street machines, few bikes, and then I will be doing a couple of other programs because there are so many cars there that I just couldn't get them into one episode. So this one's over an hour anyhow. So let's get into it. So straight up with some really nice hot rods, and look at that Falcon.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's a nice
clean,
colour.
clean lines.
Like the hubcaps.
Yes.
So the old hot rodders, mate, they love the 32, 28 to 32, 34 models.
Yep. Seems to be the go, doesn't it?
They seem to come up with different things to do with all of them. And of course, I've seen this car quite a few times now. Debuted last year when you were there.
Yes.
And it was down at Motor X, and I caught up with it at the Hot Rod Show as well at the Nationals.
Yep.
And I just think it looks so good all closed up here with
It
the
is
light.
good to see it closed, Howard. I mean, you filmed it, the interior down at Motor X.
And this one, the old lowrider.
Yeah, it's a lowrider, right? With bling.
So once again, a lot of these cars we've given full coverage before, and this one I've shot this a few times now, but it's good to see it out. And then we're going to do a run of hot rods now. So the traditional go back in the day with the hot rod show was the clubs would put on a display.
Yeah.
And they used to do a lot of things with petrol pumps and all sorts.
Okay.
And there's one further on in, but you'll see in a lot of cases there'll be multiple cars like these, and more often not it's from a club.
Yep.
And this particular year, they did a nostalgia lane with some of the cars from the last 30 or 40 years. So that'll be in another episode.
Excellent.
Mate, nice pickup.
Very clean.
And of course, Australia started all that.
Yes. The utility.
So this is one of those clubs that there was a history of the club on the board there that told you all about the Northern Beaches.
Not much room for a surfboard, but I'm sure they worked it out.
Throw her in the back of the ute.
Yeah.
Now I was a bit cheeky with this one. I shot it and I wasn't happy with it, and I unplugged his lights so that I could get it. That black is just so stunning.
Yeah.
And I managed to get it in a better light for the camera, if you like.
Sorry, Tim, but yeah, it came up really good. I love my HKs.
And you probably wouldn't mind one of them sitting.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yep.
So I like the way the interior is done in this car as well. It's got a digital dash.
Okay.
And LED lights and stuff on the floor, and once again I've managed to see this car a few times now, and it never disappoints.
Blending the old and the new, eh, Howard?
Yeah.
Well, that is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Original wheel.
And the digital dash, and then it's the quick shifter. And that gorgeous body and paint. Now I need to read the sign for that, Dale, but that looks like it's late 30s maybe.
Yeah. It's in that era.
Now I don't know, Dale, whether it's me because we've just done a blue car, but there seems to be a lot of blue cars around at the moment.
Yeah, maybe we're catching our eye a lot.
I think it's just the fact that I've been polishing blue for so long, that's all I'm seeing. Old Ranchero. And I'm really happy to see a lot of this paintwork coming on, and you'll see in one of the other episodes the amount of lowriders and stuff that were in the nostalgic side of the event. But it's bobbing up everywhere, and another one of the cars in a minute's got the roof done as well.
It's credit to all the owners and the builders. There's so many hours in these cars. The quality's, I'm sick of saying it, they're getting better and better, aren't they?
It is, and I think the availability of parts firstly, but I mean, you still got to put the hours in.
Absolutely.
So a bit of that fiberglass joy.
Yeah, they never looked that good out of the factory, I'm sure.
No, that's a bit of a stunner.
They never fitted together that well.
I was talking to someone the other day about, I was just thinking about it'd be cool to go for a ride and something like that, and the guy said I made a comment about going for a ride in a bucket, and he said, I've got a bucket, so when you're in my neighbourhood, you better come and I'll take you for a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, this debuted at this show last year as well, and it's been doing the rounds, and I really love this car.
Yeah, that's just spectacular.
Look at that paint. It's the first time it's sort of popped like that as well, and it's got the undercarriage on show.
Every time I look at this car, I find something new.
Yeah, it's all sort of late model undercarriage. And I love the use of colours and the trim.
Yeah, really blended it together.
And then we go from all that bling to a bit of, what's the word?
Patina, is it?
Patina.
Yep.
That's the one I was looking for. So this is becoming a real thing, and there's some more pickups coming up that are actually the full bling pickups as well.
Yep.
And I don't know that I can remember a time when I've seen so many of this style of pickup being done in Australia. And I always make the comment about the novel things like that wheel that people are doing and coming up with for a point of difference, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's not easy to make stuff look old.
No, there's an art and a craft to it.
So when I was in Broken Hill, the guy that used to do some of my sign writing, he did the sign writing on the boot and that of the original Rock Solid.
Yeah, okay.
He used to work with the film crews and would do this sort of artwork that was made to look old. So they'd do a sign for a pub or something, but it had to look like it was 20 or 30 years old.
The distressed look.
Yeah, he specialised in that.
Okay.
Donnie Bierman was his name. How do you reckon some of that would go on the van, though? You reckon a bit of that...
the scrolls?
Yeah, I don't know whether it's quite old enough to have the scrolls.
Well, the way it's sitting at the moment looks old.
It looks old at the moment out there. Yeah, there's one of them roos I was talking about. Look at that.
That reminds me of Simon Telford's EJ.
True. And this is... I was trying to think where I've seen this car, but I have seen it before. And I think it was an outdoor show, and it reminds me very much of the sort of things that were going on in the 90s. So Mark Sanders' Torana, and Ronnie Barclay. It's got very much that style about it, and probably the fact that it's a four-door Torana in the same colour or similar colour to what Mark's was, and a similar style of trim. But the finish and the detail on this car was very, very good, and to me, it reeks of being done at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
But done really, really well.
Done very well, indeed.
It's a lovely car. Now, if you've got a blue car, why not put blue lights on it and make it really blue? When I was filming, I was going, wow, it's blue, and then I noticed the blue lights, and I thought, yep, that'll work every time.
It's blue on blue, isn't it?
And they call that sort of top a Carson top.
Okay.
But I don't know why.
No.
It's one of those things.
Someone can tell us that one.
Someone might know what the story is there. Now, I'm guessing an event car, Dale, because big wheels, and you wait till we get up the front.
Well, everything's big so far.
Check that out.
There's a lot of metal hanging out of the bonnet.
Yeah. Big, I'm trying to think of the name of the companies.
The Brodix or something like that?
Sony.
Sony, is it?
Sony.
Okay.
But
it's a big block.
It would have a lot of cubes.
Big engine, big horsepower.
Yep. A nice coat of blue. So here's another one of these clubs. So a bit harder to film when they're all linked together.
Yep.
I really love that flathead with the 3 carbs on it.
Yep.
It's a really cool look.
It's like it's out of the movie Grease. Eh?
Pretty much.
Yep.
With the big white sidewalls on it. And a XXX 32, because my original plates on the Mustang were XXX 302.
They were. That's correct.
I seen that and I went, oh.
Yeah.
People used to say, why did you have XXX? I said, because I'm dyslexic and I couldn't think of anything else.
It was different.
Is that a good answer?
Yeah, it works. Always blows me away with these louvers and how well they look. Like there's so many hours in getting something to look that good.
They're definitely hard work in the paint phase. Now that's a sedan single spinner.
Oh, okay.
So the one that was downstairs, when we get to that,
Yep.
it was what they call a businessman's coupe.
Right.
So the different roof line, and the one I was always sort of keen on was the businessman's coupe. Now this one's got a fair bit of shine and bling happening. Got very good reflection off all the paint surfaces.
It's a premiere indeed. You don't realise how many lines there are in that model of car until you see something that
I've never
good.
worked on one of these, but from everything I see and read, doing those body lines with the swages up over the guards each side is a bit of an art. Especially like on the vans and utes and stuff where they go out through the belly of the panel. A little bit of American muscle, a bit Galaxy. I think it's a Galaxy,
Yep.
I read the sign.
That always helps.
Nice blue with the 5 spokers on it.
See where the Fairlane 500 had some inspiration.
Yeah, there's a big overlap,
design,
isn't
there?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. That was a bit like, what are they doing over there, and we'll see what we can do here. So I was chatting to these guys. This is a local car from Wollongong.
Right, okay.
And he runs a business called Rock Solid Fabrication.
Right.
I said, that's a good name. Those people that follow me would know, but my original car was called Rock Solid, and then that turned into Rock 2 and 3 and 4 and Race Rock and all sorts of rocks. But yeah, Rock Solid Fabrication. Now Benny Ambrose that gave me a hand, and you know Ben, that's his car there. So this was a 25-year build at home.
Right.
On and off over families and children and all the things we do. And he picked up a trophy and modified street machine for the undercarriage, which is a pretty good chore because he painted it on the ground on his back. And Ben's he's an automotive painter, but that's a chore in itself to be able to do it in the shed like that.
Extra effort.
And the car is progressively improving, and he caught him having a little look in the judges meeting on the Sunday morning, so he's keen to know a bit more about it.
Yep.
Nice factory trim. Got the shifter mounted into the original console.
Yep. It's an unusual colour too. It's not. Is it a factory?
Yeah, that's
it's not wild violet, but it's something that looks a bit like that. I think.
I think it is wild violet.
It could be wild violet, yeah.
But it's got the black stripe where traditionally people put the orange. So here we are at Rosehill, so I grabbed the opportunity just to talk to this lovely couple that own this car. How you going, buddy?
Good, Howard. Jason.
Jason? Yeah. So Jason, quickly tell us a bit about the car, some of the things you were just explaining to me about the options and how long you've had it and those sorts of things.
I've owned the car for 28 years. This is the second resto that I've done on it. The first one was more of a softer, smaller type resto, just a clean up. Tidy up, yeah. And then about a little over 3 years ago, I started doing a lot more extensive work and ended up taking the car to do the body about 2.5 years ago to C&J.
So the accessories and all on it, was that how you got it, or was that how it was ordered?
Some were there, and some I actually put on the car.
Yeah, so you're saying about the wheel caps, just explain some of that to us.
Yeah, the sports wheel discs they're called. They're about $20. You could order those from the factory for a Premier, $26 for a Kingswood.
Yep, and I see it's got the old taxi bar in it as well.
Yeah, in the book it's called handrail, but that was a NASCO accessory. There's a lot of NASCO accessories on the car, and in the Holden scene there, there's a lot of jewellery. People love it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. I mean, it's I like the way you've got it set up, and it just takes you back to the way the cars were. And a very tasteful restoration.
Yeah.
So, mate, good to see you actually one of the big shows.
Yeah.
And you're telling me you do a lot of car and coffee and stuff?
Yeah. This is the first big show I've actually been at. Normally I just do the odd one here or there, but mainly coffee runs, but only close to home. So I've ventured out a bit here.
Very worthy. Beautiful car.
Thanks, Howard.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
It's nice to catch up with people at these shows, Dale, and unfortunately I can't do it very often because of the music and copyright and all those sorts of things in the background. But it was just a chance that happened, and I was talking to the people that owned it.
Yep.
So I took that opportunity to find out a bit more about it and a bit more about them. And they've owned the car a very long time, and it's a choice ride.
It's got every option known to mankind, I think, on there. It's got
Pretty much.
the taxi bar and all sorts of things. The spats.
So
Looks
what he was
fabulous.
going through telling us about the You Haven't Heard was exactly all of those
All
things.
those things, yep.
Yep.
Cool.
And they're avid followers of the channel as well.
Oh, even better.
So back to some more hot rods. Power to weight, Dale.
Not a lot of weight, heck of a lot of power. So Venom was down at Motorex, I believe. I think we saw it down there.
Could have been. I'm trying to recall.
I'm sure it was in the hall where we were at, but there's so many nice cars it's hard to remember sometimes.
I'm not sure even what town I'm in at the moment. Which is not a bad thing, Dale.
Yep.
So you can see a whole lot of people in the background with their vests on because this is Friday night still.
Yep.
And where I've gone back, and sometimes people put car covers and things on, I've gone back on the Saturday morning and again on the Sunday morning to get the unveiled. So I've tried to put them in some sort of format. There's a nice little Clevo in there. Now, Dale, what's this one?
I thought it's a Bug Eye Sprite. But
You're better than me because I don't know what it is.
I
just thought it was cool.
think it's an MG Sprite.
Going on a picnic.
Beautifully restored. If I had any hair, I'd probably feel the wind in it if I was driving that.
You might do. So from a little car to a big car.
It's at a 55, 56.
I'm
Chev.
not good with my Chevs. To me, the 5, 6, 7, I get a bit confused.
It's all
but
with the taillights.
I'm thinking the taillights look
It's
about
not a
6.
7. I think it's a 6. I'll put my neck on the block and say
And I've
it's a
seen that thing in the boot there and I thought that looks a bit familiar what I did in Boss XC. And I don't know whether he's seen mine or I've seen his, but it's a good idea. So I mean, every car you look at's had so much work done. Got the aircon under the dash.
55. See, I was wrong.
Oh, look at that. It's on the plate. It always helps, doesn't it?
It always helps.
Now, I spoke a fair bit about this car. This was at Summonats.
Yes.
And it was one of those cars you sort of walked up to and went, what's that doing in here? And it catches your eye and just go, wow.
I think it was actually unveiled at MotorX last year, Howard.
Was it? The detail, like the detail, the cleanliness and the way it's detailed is phenomenal.
Yeah. A friend of mine had a Corolla back in the day. It was nowhere near as good as that.
Look at that wheel. Look how nice that is.
And even just the rubbers around the windows, everything looks so
Everything's
well done.
just, it's beautiful. I like the way they painted the back of the door.
Yes.
To tie in with the trim.
Yep.
Now this was a stunning build. I don't know too much about it or how long it's been around, whether it's new or old, but it's got some beautiful lines on it. And the use of the gold with that colour, with the burgundy. And then when it swings around the back, you'll just see the shape around the taillights and all. It's magnificent.
Yeah, they've really tied it together well, haven't they, with the colour scheme?
And check out the reflection on that tailgate.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
It's like a TV.
Some hours in all those little edges and turns and then all the pipe work and chassis. Have a look at it.
Yeah.
Incredible. I think I'll go back in for a second look here in a minute because I see things through the camera and I go, oh, I've got to get a better look at that. Look at the detail on that. It's amazing. I must admit, Dale, I think I see more of the cars now that I'm filming because I normally go to the shows and spend all my time talking and not looking.
Yes.
So I'm in there on my own, just with the camera and all these beautiful machines.
Yes, certainly some hours there.
Now, this is another car that I've seen a couple of times, but I don't recall being able to do the interior and stuff on this car.
Okay.
This time it was shown with the door, at least one or two of the doors open, and a chance to get a little bit closer to the car and get a little bit more footage of it, because it's a very well built car.
Red and black are unusual, but it seems to go well together, doesn't it?
So I'm guessing those taillights have got some LEDs hidden in behind there.
Yeah, they look like they've got something fancy going on underneath that cover.
Now this is another one I turned the lights off because they had a massive amount of light on it at this show. A little bit more. I was talking to the owner. He sort of upped the amperage a bit on what they had at MotorX, and you can see the reflection off my light there on the top of the guard, and he was trying to get that to enhance it a bit, but I really liked it with the lights off because it shows the depth of the paint.
Yes.
And the overall look of the car, because with so much light on it, I thought it washed it out a bit. But
I'm trying to think, did it win the paint award at MotorX?
It did. It won a bronze medal.
Yes.
At MotorX, and I haven't seen all the results from this event yet to know exactly, except for those things I've seen pop up on Facebook. And of course, we're only a few days out from the event, so it's always a bit hard to get all of that.
And this was
this was painted up at Exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, up in Brisbane. And of course he'd made these new floor panels, and it was a little bit hard to get good footage of that because of the depth of it all, and the fact I turned his lights off because I liked it better without it. Like, look at that, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dale, this one took my fancy a bit because when I was back doing all them show cars with all the bright paint, I always wanted to do something like this because the mini truckers were doing this in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yep.
And I always liked the look, but I don't know that I had the skill at that stage to be able to pull it off. And the time frames that we were always on probably wouldn't have been possible, but I always loved that look.
This is another unveiled car from
Motor-X. It is, and it's got a really good response down there, and the same at this show, and rightfully so because it is a stunning street machine.
Yes.
And it's not everyone's taste, being a Jag, but for those that haven't seen it, it's got a turbo barra up the front. And I just think it's got a nice style and feel about it. And the trim really matches the British racing green.
Yep.
Just the whole balance of the car I really like. And I'm sure it's going to get a bit of use once it's done the circuit. And I believe that's a Wollongong guy
Okay.
that owns that car, someone was telling me.
I can say from personal experience, it's good to drive a Jag with a bit of oomph under the bonnet. Because they're a little bit lacking in the original motor.
Check that out.
That's really...
Actually, I just remembered, that I'd forgotten all about it. My dad had a Jag with a 350 in it, 350 Chevelle.
Yeah, that's a friend
A
of
long
mine
time
had the
ago.
same thing. Yeah, yeah.
He bought it like it and sold it like it.
Very popular conversion.
There we go, for all those that like a bit of info. So it is a British racing green, a current Jag colour. Now back to a bit of tradition, a red hot rod.
Nothing as fast as a red one.
Very deep, beautiful red that.
It's almost your Mustang red. Yeah,
I think it's a little bit more orange maybe.
Yeah, it looks a little brighter on the screen there.
But yeah, mine was straight PPG bright red tinter. And the reason for that is that if you get the straight tinter, it's got no other little additives, because to mix a colour they normally start with a tinter and then add a bit of blue or a bit of black or a bit of green to get the tinge. And if you can keep it as clean as possible by having nothing else in it, I'm trying to read the colour on the sign, but I was too slow.
You're too quick with the camera, Howard, that's what it was. I'm glad you showed me the sign first. I wouldn't have to guess what year Chevy this one was, so that's good.
So this is Darren, so it looked way better under these lights because it was in a bit of a spot at Motor-X. It was an unveiled car and it really didn't show the body and the paint off like it is here. And I'm going to have to grab hold of him one day and tell him to leave a door open for me because it's always got the door shut. Darren's been in the scene a long time. I've known him from the late 80s.
Okay.
And he's done a little bit of judging and had a couple of nice cars along the way, and this is a spectacular build. I love it.
It's funny how the shape of the car seems to change with the two-tone.
Yes, very much so. And I love that wheel combo. There's that wheel combo, Dale, I keep talking about.
Yep.
But I checked with another guy down there on the stand and they only do a 5.5 front width, and I'm not comfortable putting that much tyre under a big car. Now the Romans Car Club. So we've got it run with hot rods here, a couple in the build.
There's so much effort goes into these, isn't there, at every level.
Yep. And a lot of these guys will build these over 10, 20 years. And they go out and have a tinker.
Yep.
And put some more dollars away each week to keep the build going. rolled a couple of those kegs around, Dale. Over the years. They're a bit different shape now. There you go, Dale.
That's
Bring
one
back a
for
few
me.
memories.
Yes. He's got a couple of extra spark plugs that I didn't have.
Yeah. A couple of extra carbies too, probably.
At least one extra one. Yep.
So you can see the family setting up the tea bucket there. I had to sort of work around them a bit and then come back and do theirs the next day in the morning because they were still going.
Mm-hmm. Yes, my EHs didn't look that nice.
This one looks like it might have been a nice resto, and then someone decided we might just slip an engine and some wheels under that.
Yeah, so you got some big bags at the back and some big cubes in the front.
And a big exhaust. Look at the size of the pipes coming out of that.
There's some engine in that
There's
Torana
another
as
monster
well.
there, yeah. And I was never in a position to get a decent shot of that because I've almost given up on trying to film once the crowd comes in. You just can't get any decent footage.
434 cubic inch.
Small block. Yeah.
Nothing small in that.
So if I do these videos long enough, maybe people will start leaving their boots and doors open.
Yeah, we need the owners to watch these videos and pay attention.
And I've said it to a few people there that, you know, most of the professional still photographers come in early or late.
Yep.
And the cars are just not open or closed. And it's just really hard because it's nearly impossible when the crowd's in.
Yeah.
This was a really cool trade stand. Very simplistic but very in your face at the same time. That business, I just read, I say it's been going a long time, the sign says 1977. Nothing like a white car, Dale, with a big blown engine
With
in
a
it.
big chrome engine in it, yep.
It's bathtub look, I call that.
That's very
engine bay,
sparse.
very smooth and sparse.
Yep.
Lots of chrome, lots of bling. I must admit I like that much more than a black, all black. And all black's become the thing, but I like that. Now, there's a bit of a surprise on the interior for this one, Dale, for you.
Okay. Oh, there's a bit of fur with them dice in there. Hey?
Bit of Mexico in that, you reckon?
This looks like it's snowed on the inside. It's got icicles hanging off the roof.
Check out the paint on the roof.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a stunner. And the caddy taillights.
Yep.
Out to drive you wild.
Warwick Yellow HK.
You've been studying up your colours, Dave.
No, I know that colour.
Very nice restoration, this one. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I followed it in Friday afternoon. It drove in. Because I commented to Heather, look at the size of the back tyres as they came out. And that you'll see in the boot in a minute, the spare in the boot's still got the sticker, the original sticker on the tyre.
Oh,
Look at that.
Wowee.
I don't think it'd be much good to put on as a spare, but
No.
it's a nice piece. This is a cool look with the factory suicide doors, isn't it?
It is.
It's like a lounge room.
That's a rather large red bathtub with seats in it.
Yeah.
So is this a caddy? Is this a caddy or what's this?
No, I reckon this is a Ford actually.
It's or a Lincoln or something, is it?
Yeah. Let's wait till we get to the back, Dale. Maybe they left the label on it.
I'm expecting President Kennedy to
Can
be
get
sitting
out
in
of it? Yeah. Now I always talk about use of colour. This car I really like. So obviously I like that pin line in the bay. I like that look. I've done that a few times. And this iridescent silver and the white work so well together.
It's an unusual combination.
The lights in the front bumper, bit of an interesting trick. And then the red trim to go with it. So I always talk about 3 colours.
Yes.
So silver, white and red.
There's a great example there.
Yeah. It just looks good.
Very nicely done. A Bel Air.
64 Bel Air. Now I needed the sign for this one because I think this is a Chevelle.
Yes, I think you're right. He looks so different with that colour scheme, and this is sort of where it's almost too dark,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Chevelle. Yeah, and I've got the light on, I think,
Yeah.
on the camera. It's
Yeah.
just soaking up the light.
Yep.
He's probably getting a bit of a dark spot there in the hall.
440 Dart.
Yeah, the P-plater.
The Anglia.
Check out the treads on that one, Dale.
Wow. Is there room to put a diff under there? They're not the biggest car.
I'll pop my head in the back in a minute.
Yep.
So Barra, Turbo 400. With a very short 9-inch.
Very, very short 9-inch.
And then some tubs. The big Plymouth.
The old Mopar, eh? They were like boats back in the day, weren't they? They were so big.
Nice, yeah, nice big 6-seater.
Yeah,
The whole family in there.
Travelling comfort.
This is a very classic, red on red. Beautiful belts there, all the new seat belts, like late model seat belts,
Yep.
all mounted in a lot of trouble when in a Mustang trying to get belts to work for engineering and all
Yes.
because of the shoulder height and all those sorts of things. Now this one's, we've done this one a couple of times. It was at Summernats with the new pipes coming out under the guard there. I think might have a set of new wheels as well now. I think I liked it better with the old wheels, but see the stand up?
Yes, I was noticing that. That's a nifty idea.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Very shiny black.
The best part about our sport, Dale, I guess, is that we're all different. We all like different things, and we get the choice to do whatever we like. I was trying to capture that black there. It's got some sort of pattern in it,
Yep.
and it was very effective in real life, and sometimes it's just hard to get all of the information on the camera. If you're towing for work or play, make sure your vehicle's up to the task. Your gross vehicle mass can be upgraded to keep everything legal and above board. Find your nearest stockist at lovellsauto.com.au and talk to the professionals about getting your vehicle right for the job. I might have to do a new ad soon, Dale, I think. But there's one thing for sure, we need to make sure that we upgrade and keep those tow vehicles on the go, but they also do a full range of shocks and springs for all of the cars that we build. So check out Lovells because they're keeping us on the air. Now, what about this?
It don't look like no Jeep I've ever seen before.
Now, I'm not sure what they do with it.
No.
But it's pretty out there. I was trying to get an angle. I'm sort of walking around a little bit trying to take it in at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, get the footage, and I'm going, wow, look at that, look at that.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, at least I think it's a Jeep. It's got a Jeep.
It's got a Jeep body. I don't know what else is Jeep, but
front cowling.
It says Jeep on the back.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
There was a couple of posts in the way as well for me to squeeze through there. There you go.
There you go. I bought a Jeep.
So there'll be a few more of these sort of cars in the next episode, because in Nostalgia Lane there's some really cool sort of race cars and stuff, but these were in the main hall, so I've tried to keep this one all about the main hall.
Okay. Life begins at 200 miles an hour, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would really give you some white knuckle fever behind the wheel that thing.
So what about this one? So I've seen this up at Corley Rocks.
Yep.
And it was a Street Machine mag car.
Okay.
And I've seen it around a few times, and it's just a really nice piece of kit, that one.
There's a bit of engineering going into that.
Yeah, this really is different. And I'm not good with timber, Dale.
No, you're a bit nervous around timber, I believe.
But someone that did this is not.
No.
Because the timber work on this was sensational.
The woody. Yes, someone's got some cabinet making type skills in that.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful it was.
And there's room for surfboards in that one too, Howard, I noticed.
Yeah, and there's a couple on it.
Maui Jim. Interesting use of the colours.
Now, it was interesting, I was talking to Damien from Cobra 400.
Right.
And he said, oh, what'd you like? I said, I like that chassis down on there that hasn't got a body on it yet. And he goes, that's where I work. And I went, well, there you go. So that's Vikings that are down Narroway.
Yeah.
On the south coast.
Okay.
And there's obviously 3 of these things on there looking really, really tight. And I was impressed just the way, the use of bracketry and the lines. Mm-hmm. Obviously it's bagged.
Yep.
And I said to him, what's the 2 coolers for? He said, I think there's about 6 on it.
Oh, okay.
Because there's an engine cooler, there's a trans cooler, there's a power steer cooler, then you got all your aircon bits and pieces and all. And they've had to shoehorn a lot of parts in to make it operate.
Okay.
And obviously there's a couple more here, completed ones. Very impressive builds.
Mm.
So I might have to get myself down there and have a look and see what they're up to.
That might be a worth a visit.
That's what I was saying earlier, just how many of these type of vehicles are being built.
Yep.
And I imagine being on a full chassis and all, it's from a rego point of view, they'd be able to be built with that sort of stance and look and be legal at the same time, which is all really cool.
Yeah, very well done.
Yeah, nice bit of kit. Now, this was an unveil
Okay.
at MotorX. So the guy that owns this works at Deluxe Hot Rods down there in Melbourne, and this was a bit of a joint effort by some of the guys that worked there, but also I think probably some mates and stuff as well, that they worked on weekends for a long time to put this car together. And it debuted down there, and then obviously they've had a bit more time, and this picked up top hot rod at the show.
Oh, okay.
Which is really cool. And it was interesting, I was talking to him Saturday night at the Bolo when we were down there. They have a bit of a function there. And I said to him, I love the car, and he said, yeah, he said, there's just a few more things I want to do, it's sort of better than what I thought it was going to be, but there's still a few more things, and it goes and picks up top hot rod. So
there you go.
Look out, people, because he's still got some more to do.
Yeah. I don't think we ever meet too many people that are fully satisfied anyway, do we? There's always something.
We're never satisfied.
Never satisfied.
There's always something that you either didn't quite get how you wanted it to be, or it just didn't quite work the way you thought. And then I'll tweak that a bit and I'll do this a bit. Now, the old single spinner love, Dale. This looks spectacular. Now this is the third time I've seen this car on show, and I thought in this light it looked the best.
Okay.
The lights here they're fluoro shaped, but they're LED.
Right.
And they're quite unusual, and they've sort of played havoc with the camera a bit, but it really made the paint on this pop. And of course a lot of these cars would be awesome to see them in the sun, because
wouldn't they?
The majority of them are special effects style paint. But this thing really just did look good, and during the day I had a massive crowd and photographers, and you can see now the old professional dudes hopped in the front behind me there.
Yeah.
We sort of follow each other around. So this was Friday night, I think, late. And then good use in the trim again. This one's a little bit more hot rod, typical hot rod. See the accelerator pedal?
Yes.
The old, got the hook for the toe, so when it sticks you can pull it back, just in case.
The businessman's coupe here.
That's the businessman's coupe, yeah. So it's still had a lot of...
It's definitely doing the business.
A lot of mods to it, but the one I drew up, or had drawn up for expression session, I was going to roll pan the front, no bumper, because to get them down like that. So I've chucked in a couple of these displays that were open and I thought were well presented, and for no other reason. I don't have any attachment to those organisations. It's just the fact that I thought they put on a good show and spent the money to make a nice display, that I'd throw it in. And another pickup. What's hiding in here, Dale?
Everything you don't want to be seen from the outside,
A couple of drop rails there, get it down. So there'll be a lot of Harleys in the next one.
Okay.
There was a good range of really top end bikes, and some old school stuff as well.
That's a different look, isn't it?
It's one way to get it under the bonnet. You nearly call that a ram horn.
Yes.
So the first time I seen this was last year, and it was upstairs, and I think it was one of our thumbnail photos actually. And once again, the light really is picking up that colour.
That silver stripe goes well with it, doesn't it? So what you mean by the lights?
Yeah, I mean, someone said to me, a lot of people always say to me, what takes your fancy or whatever, and I go, man, there's like 30 cars here that I like or I love, It's just such a massive array of variation in style and colours, and just unbelievable. The amount of work to get that clean
Yeah. Yeah.
and keep it that clean is incredible. Now I reckon this is pretty much the same as what Darren's got.
Right.
So he's American convertible 63, and I reckon it's very similar to that.
Okay.
So that's project in the corner at the moment, but he'll get to it. The XY wagon's got in the way.
Yes. Yes. As they do.
As they do, yeah. So that front spear there looks a bit like the one off the 63 Fairlane, doesn't it? So what is it? It's a 63 Futura. So that would be the same with a little Windsor in there. So that's pretty much what he's going to be doing at some stage.
In his spare time. Yeah. Now that's a 57.
And a very nice one at that. And a little bit of a play on words, because of course these came out with fuel injection from the factory, which must have darn near been the first one.
Yep.
So he's got the fuel injection on the side, but of course it's a 427 with 4 stacker now. So
Wow.
or an 8 stack, 4 a side. Can't count. I like the display on this one with the esky and
Yes.
a few little tasteful stickers here and there on keep it sort of period correct. So I was talking about those displays, Dale. So this was the best example I thought at this particular show, but when I used to do the hot rod shows in the 90s, I actually built the pit straight at Bathurst
Yes.
to put my car on.
Yes.
Because I used to pay really good money for best individual display. So if you come up with a theme
Yep.
and followed that theme through in the way you displayed the car, it helped to make the event better. That's the way the promoters thought about it.
Yep.
And I used to play that game a bit and enjoyed coming up with something unique each time. And I thought this was a good display, and you see the engine on the stand there and the fuel pump, and
You know, golden fleece.
it's pretty cool.
They'd be worth a bomb, those Bowsers now. Those sorts of things. It's so
Yeah, you
hard
see them come up for auction fairly
Yeah.
regular, and a lot of people do, full restorations on them.
Stromberg on the side, those side valve
A
V8.
couple of Strommies, yeah,
Yep.
I reckon. Looks like a gangster mobile, that one,
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
LC GTR.
Mr. Nuts.
Yeah.
How low can you go?
What, no 6-cylinder in there? No. A dirty big snail or two. No, just the one.
Just
One
the
big one.
Yeah. LS the world.
Well, very nice.
And the FB. No, an EK.
EK.
EK. There's a few lines on this that brought back a few memories.
Yes.
Doing a bit of body work on the old tailspin. So once again, the bigs and littles and the big blown engine, and pretty much a stock body by the look of it. Yeah, so to get them wheels under there's a bit of treatment in the boot.
I would imagine so.
Now that's a very classic hot rod
Yeah, I
car.
wonder when we're going to see some flames.
There's plenty of flames in the next episode.
Okay.
Yeah, in the nostalgia
Yep,
hall.
yep.
A lot of flames.
A lot of blue in this one.
You like the mirrored firewall, Dale?
That is different, isn't it? Looks like
That
it's
was
got a
a-
really long engine.
The mirror firewall and the checkered firewall. The black
Yep.
and white checker was the sort of go for a long time. A very traditional look, that one. And a big pole. We tried to cut that out, but it was all too hard, so I said,
Just
leave
leave
it
it
there. It'll be right.
It's a big blower.
It's a bit strange with the full height roof, doesn't it,
Yes.
compared to the others? Got a look at the variation in the front to back wheel combo.
Wow. That's how you get some rake. It's a real Bonneville look, isn't it?
Pasty back. So I think it's a 39 model. I'm not sure what that engine was. I was daydreaming a bit. Is that a giveaway, Dale? It's a 56, I think.
56.
Tuxedo.
Yeah, I love that two-tone look on these period of cars. I like the way they've done the trim as well. The spare somewhat doesn't match the rear wheel, but
It looks the part. I
It
like
looks-
the Esky. That's
it looks really
right
good.
up my
Yeah.
alley. I'll get a close up on that.
People will be familiar with the Summonats Champ. Was it Summonats at
Yeah.
one point?
Yeah. So this
2 years ago.
Grand Champ year before last.
Yep.
And gone on to do quite a lot of shows and run some very stout times on the track as well. And it's a bit of an opportunity to get a decent shot of the undercarriage because the lights weren't on and the camera tends to like that a bit better.
I find this hard to believe that they've raced this because it's in so good, clean and
Yeah, one stout Falcon, that's for sure.
yeah.
I've always liked a nice set of side drafts.
Mm.
LSUs. It's nice clean bay. Beautiful little car.
Yes, even the four doors looked good. Didn't necessarily need to have a two door, but it's so hard to find. You can understand why there'd be a four door around.
So that's the judges wandering around with their electronic gizmos in the background. So this is Friday night.
Okay.
So they're on the job.
Yep.
And they work pretty hard over a couple of days to be able to get around to all the cars. I actually managed to do an interview with Chris Bitmead and Greg Maskell that sort of head up the judging team at this event,
Okay.
and had a chat to them about the system they use, similar to what I did with Owen.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be an opportunity that we'll get that up at some point for people to get a bit of an understanding of the different styles of judging
Yep.
that occur in all the different events.
Mm.
This is an unusual Torana Dale with the silver on the yellow. I don't know whether that would have been a factory combo,
I can't say that I've seen that combo, but
it was quite unusual to the eye, and then it's got the blackouts around the windows and stuff. And then this was at the Summonats, and I think I made a comment in the video then in the top 60 about the use of colour and how it was very unusual when striking.
yep.
And it's so difficult to be different now with so
It
many
is.
cars and
It
so many
is.
builds. Look
Yep.
at that.
Yep.
It's probably not for everyone, but I think it's a good use of colour in his own way.
Yeah, and it stands out. That little difference.
Now this was a car that I really enjoyed, and part of the reason was it's a GS, and they haven't gone down the track of trying to make it a GT. It would have been really simple to make it look like a GT.
Yep.
But they've kept the Fairmont badges and all, so the V8 would have been a 302 and the 351's actually had a 351 badge.
Right.
And the GS stripes rather than the GT, and I thought it was a pleasant change up from another GT lookalike. And it's a very well presented car, and the crew that were cleaning it and all were very young as well, you know, and it looked to be under 30 to me, and it was good to see a young group there with such a nice car. Look at the ends of the doors and all the jams and stuff, beautifully presented.
Very well done. Attention to detail, Howard, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, every part. Yeah, this was a Superstars contender.
Okay.
And another car with a lot of light. Very difficult. The camera didn't like the light either. The focus, when it gets so much light on the chrome, tends to play up with my focus a bit. And there's plenty of chrome and bling on this one.
Sure is. It's blue on blue, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the striker rims. Oh, that's giving me nightmares thinking about
very old school.
About cleaning that. Yeah.
So Western Australian car. These two boys side by side here. I was having a bit of a yarn to them Friday night. They've been mates and been around a long time in the game. The guy with the HR, I think he said he'd owned it for 39 years or something like that. It was some crazy number.
Yep.
But I love when you get the car this and you look in the back and you're looking at the timber and then all of a sudden you spot something else like the graphics.
Yeah.
And it sucked me in, and then it just kept going, and it's got like late model steering wheel and column and stuff in it, and yeah, you can just get lost in some of these builds. So here we go. So
EX2, yep.
And I'm trying to remember the exact story now, but he did convert it to the Prem.
Okay.
And he was explaining to me that he actually made the wheel arch moulds.
Okay.
You know, made a timber buck and then hammered them up and polished them, and there's a lot of stuff that wasn't available for a ute that they then made to suit the ute. And apparently it all started because his wife's a lot shorter than him, so it had a bench seat in it. When she pulled the seat up to drive it, he just about hit the windscreen, so he decided to put buckets in it, and he had some Prem buckets, and it snowballed from there.
And that's how it started.
As it does,
yep.
yeah. So it's a really nice car, and he drives it everywhere apparently.
Very good. X2 had the twin Strombergs on
That's
those.
The one. Yeah. So this was someone that's Unveiled.
Okay.
And I did a bit of an interview with the guys that did the work on this, or the owner and one of the guys from the shop. And I seen it again at the GT Nationals. And they've obviously been evolving the car, because there was some bits on it that I picked up that weren't 100% restored. You know, they might have been painted rather than zinc, and they've been progressively...
Okay, yep. Working through and
changing a few things, but it's a very well presented car, beautiful paintwork.
They didn't look that good out of the factory, Howard.
They probably did.
Well, they did, but they weren't
because they were new.
that well. Yeah, but the gaps look great and all that sort of stuff,
from
you know.
that
But
point of view. Yeah, no, I can
yeah,
understand
they would have
that.
looked good new, but not quite as good as that.
So if you love a good GT, there's another video that went up last week from the GT Nationals where there was 430 GT Falcons from XR through into current.
Just a couple to choose from, eh?
And I was fortunate enough to get one of the main organisers and the president of the New South Wales GT Club to narrate that with me. And if you're into your GT Falcons, that's definitely a good look, and some beautiful cars at that event. Now this one, they were still polishing this at about 8-9 o'clock on Friday night, so I had to zip back in and get it in the morning on the Saturday. Got some big wheels under this one, Dave.
Yep. Now that's some scroll work. Very nice.
And a matching Harley trike to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the tea bucket I was talking about that I was setting up. So I
Wow.
went back in and grabbed these. So they'd obviously had the polishing rag going. Look at the exhaust.
Mm. I still to this day do not know how they drive something like that.
With the
but
straight up and down steering wheel, I know. I was thinking
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
We must have been thinking alike.
yeah.
Yeah, the trim in this car, I'm trying to think of the name of the trimmer. There's not much to be good talking about it if I don't give you the name, but there's some really good build shots on the site of the guy that did it, and probably if you're quick enough to read the sign there, it'll probably tell you. But amazing amount of work. They've completely fabbed and did a lot of 3D printing
Okay.
to make all of the dash fabrication and all on this car.
Yep.
And it's detailed within an inch of its life. Look at that engine bay, it's all boxed out.
Wow.
Because they really have quite an unusual engine bay to be able to convert for this type of show. So this one was an unveiled Dale,
Okay.
and a very traditional style hot rod. You can see the big front brakes and all.
Yep.
So I don't know exactly this car, but in a lot of cases you can get a disc brake set up that's encased in like the old drum brake.
Right. Yep.
Very deep red, that one.
Mm.
So that was an unveil. So this is probably Sunday morning now
Yes. Okay.
with some of these, and you can tell by the brightness of the light. So I had to go in and grab some unveils, and the one behind that you can see now, the big truck there, you'll see that in a minute. So once again, if you're into your Harleys and your bikes, there's quite a lot of bikes of this level that'll be in one of the other episodes from this event, because there's just too many cars and bikes at the show to be able to capture them all and put them in one show.
There's some serious chrome work going on there.
The big thing seems at the moment to be the engraving.
Yes.
Now these things are having a bit of a run as well, these big trucks.
These are the cab overs, aren't they, Howard? Is that what they?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on what it is, a cab over, but it's probably the right terminology.
The style. Yeah.
And it's this was unveiled, so it was a very big
Tarp
sheet,
cover. Yeah.
tarp,
Yeah.
whatever that went
Yeah.
over it, and a lot of paint. I mean,
Yeah.
as a painter, I look at that and go, wow, there's some. And then all those side stainless all looked like they were sort of handmade.
You wouldn't want to put a car on there for fear of scratching it.
It's very
Looks too
impressive.
looks too nice.
So there's a couple of these up at the Street Machine Nationals. No,
Okay.
it's the Hot Rod Nationals, one
Right,
of those
yep.
street rods
Yep.
that were actually being used.
Right.
Yeah. The boys are exclusive are doing a twin cab one as well at the moment.
Okay.
And I see one of the supercar teams have done one as well that they're doing a charitable auction with.
Very good.
They're a bit of a flavour of the
Yeah.
month. Or the year maybe, might be more so than the month. So I thought I'd better grab a video of the ute. So this is was a Super 6 from
Motorix, yes.
Superstars, and he managed to pick up top street machine at this event, and also car of the event.
Okay.
So a good trophy haul there, and a nice young couple that own that, and the guy that owns it's done all the paintwork on it.
Right.
And a lot of polishing. So this is another one out of Deluxe. So these guys have been really putting some work out.
They've been putting some cars out, yep.
I'm not sure how many, and there's a bit of a, I heard some, one of the presentations, this was one of those builds where it was built and was to go home to be finished, and then there were some issues in the family and ended up coming back and put a bit of a thrash on to get it ready. And yeah, nice classic hot rod. Very much in the vein of the style that comes out of Deluxe. And then the one next to it was the one that was in the unveils in the unveil hall that we had a bit of trouble trying to get a bit of decent light on.
Right.
So it was an opportunity to get it there in the natural light, being early in the morning.
Yeah, they deserve a good showing, like you said, the amount of work and effort that goes in, and sometimes if they don't have enough light, you can't really show the car off to its potential.
Couple of very classic hot rods. Now, if you like something different, Dale, what about this?
This is definitely different.
The imagination on this car absolutely blows me away, and if you the more you look, the more you see.
Yes.
And the little details on the top of the guards, and then up the front on the lights, and then look underneath the deck lid there.
Yeah.
It's just an incredible car. I'm not quite sure, it looks to be a race car, but then it's got a lot of perspex and stuff on. I'm just not sure exactly what it is. It's probably Lexus, wouldn't be perspex, be Lexus. But yeah, you just couldn't help but stand there and look and look and look. So many things
There's
to see.
a lot going on, isn't there? And everything's sort of lightened with the amount of...
Yeah, punch plenty of holes.
Sure have.
And you'll see here where it comes around to the door frame, how they've lightened everything off.
Yeah.
So there was a display of Porsches that they had a big Pantech with about 5 or 6 Porsches there. It'll be in the next episode, and I'm presuming this probably come out of that same stable. But the stand, the lights, the whole thing, just amazing.
Some effort gone into
See
that.
the lower, the air vents with the green and the just everything, every little fine detail.
I've done such a great job of blending, the modern with the, with the old.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look up what model it is, but it's something like a 356 Porsche or something like, the second model they ever made or something.
Now this one here, Dale, I came home and raved about this. This truck from Showcar Melbourne, and the all the little tiny details all through this, not inside, outside, really blew me away in the sense that it was all hand fabricated, and you'll see when it comes around the door skin and then the seat and the mount and the shockeys on the seat, and yeah, just incredible. So that's all spring mounted seat with the shockeys.
Wow.
And then the step tread down the bottom. Just everything was so well presented and so well finished that I just couldn't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
There's a lot to take in. You see the timber work and
the actual bed on the top. The timber's got inlays of different coloured timbers and brass and incredible. And if you have a look at the little lights down the bottom, they got little slots in them, and then the vents in the guard.
Yeah.
And then down the bottom, you can see the exhaust with the little vents.
Yeah.
The toolbox on the underside of the deck. You just can't.
Yeah.
And Louise said, "You've got so much footage of this, Dad," and I go, "I love it. It's just awesome."
Yeah.
Now this black one is another unveiled, Dale.
Okay.
And super low, super shiny, super straight, and a little bit too dark for me, but it looked unbelievable. And then they brought a really nice trim colour in. You can see in the boot there. There's your toolbox in there by the spanners on it.
Looks like that.
Yeah, and then all the chassis all detailed with all the satin colours. Incredible paint panel. And then a late model steering and dash, which I dare say probably ties into the undercarriage somewhere as well.
Yep.
And then it's running a late model engine and stuff. The trim fabrication nowadays has really gone up quite a few steps in the last few years.
Sure has.
Now look at that door trim.
Yeah, spectacular. Yeah, that is special, isn't it?
It's crazy, eh? Yeah, that flat firewall with the satin treatment. So that was one of the new unveils.
I'm glad I'm not a judge.
True.
That's just something to look at everywhere.
So we're running down the last of the unveils now. So this one's a new car out of exclusive.
Okay.
So there's a bit of an exclusive corner there with the Torana and the Jag, and now this Torana as well. I don't have any inside goss on this one.
No, I have a feeling I might have seen some of the build shots of this, or like paint from the boys of exclusive.
Actually, thinking about that, it might have been the super rusty one they had that they started when they were still in Sydney.
Quite possibly.
So this particular event, Dale, I spent the weekend on the PPG and Mercer stand.
Okay.
And spoke to a lot of people. It was nice to catch up with all of those supporters that follow the channel and hanging out every Thursday to see what we're up to. And we'll keep bringing you more and more shows. So I'm committed to Lovells to have an event program of some sort out every fortnight.
Yep.
And we've got some good news coming up about a new series that will involve PPG with some build type things, but we're just trying to finalise all that at the moment. And speaking of which, this is the stand where we're hanging out, and there's a whole new range of Mercer products, and of course PPG's always had an unbelievable range of colours. So we're bringing you a lot of information about all those tools and the different paint products and all between now and Christmas. And to thank them and Lovells for continuing to support myself and the channel, and you as well, Dale. Thanks for dropping in again, mate.
No, thanks, Howard. It's good.
Dale does this off his own bat to give me a hand and be able to bring these shows to you guys and just keep you up to date on what's going on in this wonderful game that we're involved in.
The bling doesn't stop, does it, Howard?
Look at the colours there, mate.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So I had a bit of merch up there as well. And I can't do that at every show because I've got to be able to move around, but And that was the old man's seat, mate, so I could have a bit of a bludge every now and again.
I'll make sure I don't miss the one next year. Make sure I'm not
Make
working.
sure you're off. Yeah.
Make sure I'm off.
So this car pulled a few heads. That was right next to us, and it had nothing to do with us, but it we put up a little short on that because it had the flames, and then the roof was all done.
Yep.
As well. Check this out. Someone with too much time on their hands, Dale.
Absolutely.
So don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for joining us, and bye for now.
See you later.